Another workflow to consider is to create a dynamic link between Max and Viz and AutoCAD or Architectural Desktop. That's done through the File Link Manager, and you can access that on the File menu or on the Utilities tab. And if you're using 3ds Max 8, you'll need the Real DWG 2007 plugin to do this. It's a free download at Autodesk. So here's the File Link Manager. I'll go to the Attach tab and click on the File button. I'll select the house drawing file and then select the layers to include from that file. The default is to skip all the frozen layers, but I'd like to skip the off layers as well. So I'll select them manually from the list. Attach this file. It says down here it's linking the AutoCAD drawing. Then we need to close the File Link Manager. And let's see what we have. So it brought in the whole 3D model that we developed in AutoCAD or Architectural Desktop. This is an ADT model, and the Select by Name tool will show you the structure of the objects that were linked. So it shows individual doors, openings, roof slabs, and so on. I'll select an object and go to the Modify panel. Notice that it's identified as linked geometry. I don't have the ability here to parametrically control this object like I can do in ADT. I'll select this door. Same thing, linked geometry. There's nothing you can do to it here. So if you use this strategy of linking DWG files into Max or Viz, you're going to be limited in terms of your modeling capabilities. You can't really do that much with linked geometry. So you can just use Max and Viz as visualization engines. You can add materials and lights, cameras, animation, and so on, and make a rendering. There are some limited things you can do with linked geometry. For example, down here we have a problem with our wall. I notice it has this defect marker. I'll click the Delete Spline modifier and just get rid of that. This wall is missing from the basement. I'll select it and then assign the Edit Mesh modifier to it. I'll go to the vertex level, grab the vertices, and move them over. So this is good for some minor fixes that you might need to do here in Max or Viz. But if you have more extensive design changes in mind, you should go back into your source program and make those changes and resave the DWG file. Then just go back to the File Link Manager, go to the Files tab and click Reload, and it will update here. Any modifiers that you've assigned or materials that you've applied will remain. If you want to sever the link with the DWG file and make the information independent, you can click Bind. And you get this warning. You're about to break the link with AutoCAD. You may want to save a linked version of the scene before continuing. So we could do that, but I'll just go ahead and proceed with the bind and then close this dialog. And then in the end, we're left with objects which are editable meshes now. They're no longer identified as linked geometry. So if I go back to the File Link Manager, you'll see that there's nothing here anymore. Changes that I now make to that DWG file won't have any bearing on this model.